Have you ever been in a situation like this? You want an easy way to stun overload champions, so you bring a chill clip Riptide, hit it with a slowing shot, and well, nothing. It's all to do with how anti-champion effects stack, or more often than not, don't stack. And it's not even like fusion rifles are a featured anti-champion weapon this season. So what happened? A weapon's ability to stun champions is based on which effect has priority. An anti-champion artifact mod, or an exotic with built-in anti-champion properties, will normally take priority, and will not be able to stun any other types of champion than the one which is listed. So, for example, you have an auto rifle with a mod overload auto rifle equipped, and the radiant buff active. Since the mod takes priority, the auto will stun overload champions, but will not pierce barrier champion shields, as it can only have one active anti-champion option. But if you had the exact same setup, but unequipped the overload mod, the auto rifle will now pierce barrier champion shields, due to radiant. It is a bit of an unintuitive feature, but keep it in mind that sometimes it's better to not run an anti-champion mod, if you instead want something like the radiant effect of being able to break barriers. And the same idea is true if you have an exotic with an inbuilt anti-champion option, such as a Revision Zero's anti-barrier effect. Equipping Overload Pulse Rifle will not grant the Revision Zero the ability to stun overloads, making it effectively useless, except if you can benefit from surge related activities. To complicate matters more, weapons which apply elemental debuffs, such as slow or jolt, by any means are a little bit hit and miss, as the champion stun should come from the debuff instead of the weapon itself, but is not always the case. Here's an example. You have a Riptide with Radiant active. There are no champion mods available for fusion rifles this season, so that's not a consideration. The Riptide, because of this, will be able to destroy barrier champion shields. This Riptide also happens to have the perk Chill Clip, which should stun overload champions. But while Radiant is active, this takes priority in giving the Riptide anti-barrier, so it will not stun overload champions until the Radiant buff expires. Chill Clip can also freeze targets, and shattering unstoppable champions will stun them. So what if you do this whilst Radiant is active? Well, in this case it will stun the unstoppable champion, going against what I have previously stated. And in this case I can only assume it's because the shatter damage is being classed as ability damage rather than weapon damage, but it's a strange one for sure. And on strange options, the artifact perk Overload Rocket. On paper it sounds like a somewhat decent option. Rockets deal heavy damage, and you can hit an overload with one to stun it, but this mod has an additional benefit in providing rockets a huge 80% damage boost against any type of overload champion. You can see the numbers here with and without the mod for both impact and splash damage. Note that overload champions don't have any kind of damage resist when they're not stunned, but will regen health and teleport frequently. This mod makes rockets especially effective in any overload champion activity, but just be sure not to override it with something like Radiant, because this will then take away all the benefits. So why exactly is this a thing? I don't know, it just seems like game jank to me. It would be nice if these abilities could stack, but currently they don't. Thank you for watching.